did that because I decided to stitch all the other videos as one, and I wanted to make sure that videos with this, which shows about 4 seconds of the scene and the lamp, is the new segment with part 2. Now, I won't send him multi-messenger. Right, so we'll cover, as regarding Whodunnit, we've already covered what the show's about. It shows a crime, then they bring in the actors, and then they're quizzed by the guest panellists, which sometimes are members, or all of them are members of the celebrity class, and then separate one with the people in the audience, and then they put one of the audience in the celebrity cast, quizzing the people, and there's various prizes. So, how to approach the show. First of all, and I'm speaking from season 2 onwards, same will apply to season 1 with Edward Woodward at the helm, is you need to fully concentrate on how the crime is committed. Watch the intro with John Pertwee, and then it'll go introduce the guest panellists, and if they are members of the audience that are helping out, they'll be introduced, and then it goes back to the showing the police or the sergeant quizzing the various members of people involved in the crime, and you'll have a bit of a recap with John Pertwee, then part 2, and then when he thinks, yes, I think I've solved the crime, that's when the guest panellists start quizzing the cast of the reenactment. So to begin with, it was all kind of done, the quizzing the cast was done in just a plain old studio, and that's the case in the first season or part of season 2, but eventually they started having the guest panellists and the quizzing in kind of the set that was used for the reenactment, which I think gives it another touch. But you do have to fully concentrate. No checking your phone for the latest score or prices or this and that. You have to fully focus on how it was done and reenactment, because it's the clue, because the killer or the person responsible, because it's not always a death, can lie in his flashback, so not everything you see is true. So you have to make a note of, like, if a person's left-handed or right-handed, the time on the clock, because you might just view and there'll be a time clearly on display. And it's subtle things like, what if the right-handed, the height, if they put something in a pocket, you might think of it as a clue, but you might see someone put something in his left pocket, but when he's asked something for that item and pulls it out of his right pocket. It could be anything from like a painting going into like a briefcase for paintings, but when they pull it out, it's another way up. It's things like that. It's so little things, left-handed, right-handed. In the flashback, the person was taller, but when they show that the crime committed, that person is shorter. Time, it could be subtle things, a noise, and you have to really concentrate on how it was showing that the Columbo style killing, obviously without revealing who the killer or perpetrator was. And then the quizzing by the police with little flashbacks when he's, I didn't want to read it earlier, so then it shows a little flashback. But like I said, that if the flashback's from the point of view of what could be the villain, it might not be wholly accurate. So you really do have to fully, fully concentrate on the reenactment and the cast being quizzed by the police. And when the reenactment's over and the celebrity panelists are quizzing the thingy, they can request a clip. I want to see that clip again. And then sometimes when they're quizzing the cast of the reenactment, a buzzer will go off. It's about. It's now for Patrick Mower's clip, and it's like, okay, did it help him? Oh, not really. So, I would strongly advise definitely having Whodunnit on your wish list. I mean, again, I probably made a bigger deal out of it than is necessary, but I mean, let's put it this way: if it was that controversial now, somebody would have picked up on it a long time ago. It would have been, the phrases used would have been either muted for a release, like the Tom and Jerry cartoons. Apparently, some scenes were cut because of, was it Big Mama or something? I since got rid of that. In fact, I might start again with my Scooby Doos. I've missed my Scooby Doos. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with my Scooby Doos. I've now got Legend of Silver and Vampires on. I must say, it's a brilliant, clean copy. I mean, it's a legitimate thing, but the version's very clean. It's like it's been remastered. And it's got the extra 2 minutes that was cut from the UK release. Yeah, so I mean, I probably made a big deal out of that, the quote that effeminate actor did about the 10 little. It was just like one little line, that's all. Where he was referring to a play, which, like I said, was called that originally, but then was changed later on. And the one with Nida Baden Semper and Jack Smethurst, I think in real life they were all good friends. But I mean, even I thought, Jesus, I mean, he's in character, obviously. He's trying to be like Jack Smethurst. He's trying to be like his character in Love Thy Neighbour. But it definitely wasn't Jack Smethurst as a person. But I'm like, bloody hell, that's a bit close to bone. But he got away with it. But like I said, there was no malice in it at all. It wouldn't be acceptable today, obviously. There'll be controversy today if it was said as a program produced today. And I've no doubt some people in the BLM movement would if they found this clips. This, but it's a product of the 70s. I mean, it's done now. It's done. There's plenty of copies out there with the quotes left in. But I think if there was a big hoo-ha about it, I've no doubt the scenes won't be cut. There'll just be the N word would be muted, even though it was a correct name of a play. Why they left that in? But maybe it was acceptable back in the mid-70s, but there was no malice behind it. There was no malice at all. And the same goes for the Nina Baden Semper and Jack Smethurst episode. He only says it mentions an emphasis on the word black twice, or black suit driver, and to the man who plays the black customs officer. But it was just like kind of being in character as the person they portrayed in the sitcom. And their like running time of all the three quotes I just mentioned is probably 20 seconds. Of the total viewing time, about 20 seconds. But that's that bit done now, I'm not going to mention it anymore. The main thing is that Whodunnit, in emphasis, is an excellent show. It really is an excellent show, and how I come across it was I was perusing the Network on Air's website, and there I saw it with John Pertwee on the picture. I'm like, oh, I've never heard of it. So I was curious. So, and thankfully there's plenty of episodes on YouTube. Liked what I saw. I thought, I'll have some of that. I think mine were like $16.99 or $18.99, about 18 quid something. I think mine come down in price by £2 on that on Amazon. But really good show. But like I say, you do have to concentrate. I can't emphasise that enough. So I know how you and your phone at times are inseparable. It's almost like you were born with it in your hand. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration. But you do need to basically put that phone down. Not go to your phone, not fiddle with your phone. Only if you're getting a phone call, that's different. But for the programme, by watching the episode, pay attention to everything. You know, there might only be one clue, might be several clues, there might be some red herrings. But listen to the direction that John Pertwee, because I would leave season 1 to the last. The best is straight into season 2 to 6. But you need to fully concentrate. Like I said before, it could be anything from between if it's a flashback going back years, and then like with the court case one, it could be something from if a person wears glasses or not, if a person is taller in the flashback than they are when they're doing a scene where the revenge starts kicking off, like with the court case. With the reunion, there's a different, there could be a difference in height between the person. Oh, because in that one, the suspect is masking himself as one of the jurors, and he says, "I am with you right now." So everyone's like becoming paranoid. Is it you? It must be you. I don't remember you on the jury, and it's things like that. And in that one, I noticed that the person in the original, when they were summing up for the court case, the person who turns out to be the villain, played by Christopher Beanie, didn't wear glasses at the reunion, but at the court case he wore glasses, and then the court case when they're sum up in the jury room, he is about 2 or 3 inches shorter than the person. Sorry, is in the reunion is 3 inches shorter when they show the flashback of the actual person who was probably portraying. He's actually taller in the flashback than the person who's actually the villain is shorter, and they see that the person he's possibly mimicking can't be him because he's shorter than the person he's probably mimicking, passing himself off as. So it's like, yeah, put his stuff in the left pocket and then when being asked for it, pull that out of the right pocket. An object being put in one way, but when it's pulled out, it's upside down. But it was right way up going in. Emphasis on the time. It could be a noise. Like with a telephone tone, for example. If you know about telephone tones, you know that tone couldn't be that, for example. So yeah, it is so good. And if you get into it, you really it's like a fantastic version of Cluedo. And then once he's collected all the scorecards, he'll say, "Do we have an audience?" When they did do the separate people are guessing, like, you know, the 4 celebrity panelists and the 4 members of the audience panelists. If someone got it right, they got the magnifying glass in the A4 frame, and they eventually got that plus an item from the props used. But eventually, say they did away with that format and had one person from the Radio Times who won a competition. He was one of the 4 panelists. And I think in the end they did away with that for the final season of season 6. But really, just concentrate on the program. Don't have your phone in your hand. You know, don't be distracted by checking out your latest, cheapest bargain. You can do that after. But as a program, literally, you cannot. You need to keep your eye on the ball. You really do need to keep your eye on the ball. And then at the end, if you get it right, you go, "Oh yeah, I knew all right." But then you have to say, did you then when he explains how they did it, what clues there are, then you say, "Oh, let's look at that." Well, I give you one thing, like there's one episode which involves, again, you recognise a lot of the artists in it. It's all like the rehearsal on a film set of a woman and a lover planning to murder her husband by poisoning his drink. And they do the run through, and then they do the main one. Now, the actor playing the husband in this production, in real life, as in when they're not being acting in the play, is an alcoholic with little bottles of scotch. And the man who plays the effeminate who was in the one with the jury who went to the 10 little it was also in Man About the House as the man who was the boyfriend, played by Marvin Hayes. He's in another one where he plays like something with the costumes, and he takes the bottle of whiskey, um, which is 2/3 full, puts it in his left pocket, and I miss this. Then the director who comes along asks for the bottle of whiskey so he can lock it up because he don't want his main star to get absolutely arsehole. So what he does, he produces the bottle of whiskey from the right pocket, which has got hardly any whiskey out of it whatsoever. Because when a policeman smells it, whiskey. When he asks about the glass used, the director told me to, this is the one who did it, told me to take it down to the cafeteria to get it washed. Yes, I did, yes. So, turns out it was a thief from that man, and when he explained there was one clue. If you notice, when the actor who eventually does die of poisoning in his whiskey, you see he takes a glass full of it, fills his glass up. He takes, you notice the whiskey level is down by that. But when the director asks for the whiskey bottle for him to lock up, it's almost back up to the top again. So the levels in the whiskey were different. But see, some of this is obscured from you, and a lot of it is sleight of hand. So he put the poison whiskey in his left pocket, probably dispose of it. He had a bottle of whiskey, knowing it'd be asked for, in his right pocket. But what he failed to notice was the whiskey levels were different. Maybe he didn't have time to do that, but that was the only clue. The levels in the bottle of whiskey, and also he put the poison whiskey in his left pocket. But when he was asked by the director, give me the bottle of whiskey, he pulled it out of his right pocket, and there were different levels. Because obviously the first one, he'd taken a swig. So this is what I mean. You need to pay full attention to everything. Times on the clocks, times mentioned, dates. In that scene they were left-handed, but when they were right-handed with the same person. Sometimes it could be they go into a room on the left, but it's actually a reflection from a mirror, so went into the room on the right. You know what I mean? It's all subtle stuff. Sometimes multiple clues, sometimes only one clue or two clues. But you need total concentration. Like I said, the little bits of kind of what we now classed as un-PC comments, there's no more than maybe 15 seconds of the entire running time, so it's like a 0.111%, and none of it's in any way racial, of any racial intent, but it is a fantastic programme. I can't really fault it, and I can't really recommend it enough. I mean, I've told you, Jeff, multiple times to get this brilliant quiz show type crime solving format show from the mid-70s, written by David Lloyd and Lance Percival. I'm not too sure about the first series, I've said before, because I haven't really watched it with Edward Woodward at the helm. But it is really, really good, and you'll recognise a lot of actors in it, whether it be in the reenactment or in trying to solve the crime. I mean, John Chalice, Boise, is in one episode. Um, the man who is from Tales from the Crypt, the one who is wished back to life by his wife using the monkey's paw. Um, he plays the detective, although a military detective, in one episode, which also has Burt Kwok in it as well, and the man who plays I can't recognise. I think it'll be in Grange Hill, but you'll know him from probably episode 1 of the first series of Terry and June as the removal man. There was also an episode of Brandon Upkirk who's deceased as well. Can't know his name. Yeah. What else have I seen in it? Oh man, it's a stellar cast of stars. Really is. Even Robin Nedwell's in one episode or in a couple of episodes. He tragically died of a heart attack in 1999 whilst he was waiting in his doctor's surgery. He didn't do much after. He mentioned it. John Pertwee mentioned the show was about to be on TV that it was in, but he didn't really do much after that. Unless he did a lot of theatre, I don't know. But Robin Nedwell, yeah, died 1999 in his village doctor's surgery in the waiting room. What else? I mean, there's some actors you'll recognise from the current films and that. You'll recognise them. Julie Edge is in one episode that shows in now in Legends of Seven Golden Vampires. Lester Crowther, you know, The Price is Right. He's in a couple of episodes. Derek Nimmo. Oh, Harry H. Corbett's in one episode of one of the guest panelists. I mentioned Sheila Hancock. But yeah. So my opinion, my final opinion on the Whodunnit box set to those who are initiating it is, if you like your solving crimes and being a sleuth and playing Cluedo, and if you don't mind some of the obviously fashion of the time, we're talking mid-70s onwards, you will thoroughly enjoy Whodunnit, no matter the dated fashion and that. You will enjoy it. It does require concentration, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And you, Mr. Horn, I totally recommend that you you put it on your next hit list. I mean, you've got some of my recommendations from before, and you haven't been disappointed. You might have watched it, yeah. But it really is. It's so good, Jeff. Yeah, just sometimes when you're not looking for anything specific. I mean, I'm not looking now because obviously I've had to apply the brakes. But me just browsing through. I mean, I do like the network website, when you're browsing through and you just see something that is obviously 1970s, and like what you do your YouTube test, and 8 times out of 10 there is enough um, on YouTube for you to have a fair idea of what it's about. And when I did it for the Cuckoo Waltz, because I made a list of all the 60s, 70s, or 70s sitcoms, and I did the YouTube test with Howard's Way. I might still get Howard's Way. Not yet. I need to really sort these DVDs out, DVD stroke Blu-rays out, what I'm going to keep and what's going to go to a charity shop. I'll have a much better idea when it actually comes to getting these bloody shelves that will be waiting so long, which won't be well mid-April. Then I can get everything in how I want it. My favourites at the levels where I don't have to bend down, and the ones I still like but would watch less frequently than my favourites, but right down at the bottom. It might sound daft. No, I'll end with this one because this I want to stay true to the Whodunnit. I'll give it 9 out of 10. Uh, Despite the one or two what will be regarded now as non-PC comments, well, not comments, quotes from the lines. That when that bloke mentions that play that was in, this mentions it as a play, no racial gesturing at all. But today, like I say, it wouldn't be quoted today. And the two little quotes in character of the man he portrayed in Love Thy Neighbour by Jack Smethurst, where they sat next to Needham Baden Semper in real life, they were friends. Again, they were said in the kind of in well, kind of in the context of the character he played, which is not the person he is in real life. But these quotes, like I said, would not be scripted and said today. It's not, as I say, politically correct and would be regarded as borderline racism, I suppose. But he was in the character of the person he played in the sitcom, where he always got worse off, whatever happened, and they took piss out of each other, like I've already said. But yeah, Whodunnit, excellent show, top quality show of the 70s, put together and edited by David Lloyd and Lance Percival. Fan, get it, put it on your next hit list, Jeff. I can't recommend it enough. More, I mean, even if you don't watch the first series, which I think, like I said, I will do in the end. I just love the ones done with John Pertwee at the helm, and you'll recognise the stellar cast. Some, like I say, Patrick Moore's in quite a few of them as solving the crimes. He's got a nickname Bloodhound. Anushka Hempel's in quite a few. Macy man. I remembered now the name of the English actress, I think, who has a squeaky voice very similar to the American actress who was married to Peter Davidson, Sandra Dickinson. And it's Amy McDonald. Very petite, nice looking, but it's really very, very high pitched voice. I mean, if it got any higher, only dogs would be able to hear her. I can't really recall what she was in. Whodunnit on your hit list now?